Hi everyone, welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day with some recipes for you to also try. For breakfast this day I made my almond butter toasted oats with some stewed strawberries. For this I melted a teaspoon of coconut oil in a pan on a medium heat, then added in half a cup of jumbo oats and I just lightly toasted those off. I mixed together 2 tablespoons of crunchy almond butter with 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and then added that into the pan with a little pinch of salt, and I then just stirred that through those toasted oats to get them well coated in it and continued to just toast it off. I also just trimmed a handful of strawberries and quartered them. Then I added those to a separate small saucepan with a splash of water, a good tablespoon of date syrup and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and kind of just let that bubble away and stew until the liquid evaporated. Back to the toasted oats, which were nicely toasted at this point. I added some flaked almonds in as well as a small handful of crushed almonds, and I just mixed those through and toasted that off a little more. I had this with some Alpro Greek Style plain yogurt. Sometimes I add some protein powder into this too for an even higher protein breakfast. I added half of the almond butter toasted oats to that. This makes around 2 portions, so I usually just save the rest for breakfast the next day. I also added in some strawberry jam and then those stewed strawberries over the top. These oats of some variation are one of my go-to breakfasts, as you'll well know by now. So simple and tasty. I often have them with yogurt, but it also works great with milk too. The strawberries are amazing, slightly warm still, but juicy and delicious, stewed in that date syrup and vanilla. And you could pretty much do this with any fruit. I'm always switching it up, but these were lovely and sweet with the nutty flavours from the toasted oats and the creamy yogurt. For lunch I made some pea and avocado smash with chili, mint, lemon and vegan feta. I used frozen peas and I just boiled a cup of those in a pan of water on a medium heat. And whilst those were boiling for a few minutes, I took a small handful of fresh mint leaves from my garden and a small red chilli. I minced the mint up finely and then I de-seeded the red chilli and again just chop that up finely. The peas were then boiled, so I drained off the water and gave them a good shake off before adding them to a mixing bowl and mashing them up with a fork, but it's probably a lot easier with a potato masher. I then took an avocado and roughly just sliced it up in the shell, then added the chunks of that into the peas and gave it a good mix through. I then added the chopped mint and chilli in, grated in the zest of half an unwaxed lemon and squeezed in around 2 tablespoons of the juice, and seasoned it with some sea salt and cracked black pepper. I sliced up a couple of pieces of bread. I usually get some kind of mixed seeded rye bread, so I toasted those up and then just spread the pea and avocado mixture on the top. I crumbled some of the Violife vegan Greek white feta cheese over it. I find just getting stuck in with a fork is the best way with this particular cheese. And I also always sprinkle over the leftover seeds from the bottom of the bread bag so that they don't go to waste. And I added on some more red chilli too, just finely sliced up. I had some salad on the side as well, just some mixed salad leaves and some chopped baby plum tomatoes. It's just a really simple lunch, quick, easy, so tasty. I love the flavour of the peas with the creamy avocado and the freshness from the mint, the kick of the chili heat, the zesty lemon and I often make this with lime instead of the lemon too, just to switch things up sometimes, give it a bit of a different flavour. The cheese is tangy and creamy as well. Such a great flavour combination, but you could make this with any kind of beans in replace of the peas. You could also lightly mix some watercress through this, or some green pesto on it would be delicious as well. In the afternoon I had a perkier bar. These come in so many different flavours. The ones with the chocolate layer on are my favourite, of course, especially the salted caramel and the nutty toffee dark chocolate, which I had here. These are the immune boosting bars, so they're packed with vitamins and 6 grams of protein as well. I also had that with some Bird and Blend Eton Mess tea. Their tea is my all-time favourite, again, as you will know. I get their loose leaf tea, but their tea bags are actually plastic free. Their tea is earth friendly, most are vegan, and they have so many incredible flavours of tea. This little collapsible strainer is from them too, and it's perfect for a single cup of loose leaf. Eton Mess is a really nice fruity tea, and sometimes I'll put some oat milk in it to make it creamy and more like Eton Mess in a drink. The nutty toffee dark chocolate perkier bar is so good. It's got this dark chocolate layer on the bottom, as I mentioned. Then it has peanuts, puffed quinoa and protein crisps in a toffee caramel. It's such a delicious protein bar. For dinner I made tofu egg fried rice with sweet and sour veg. I made the tofu egg fried rice first by adding a block of silken tofu to a large pan with a little oil on a medium heat. I then just break it down, but not too much as it will continue to scramble, and I then seasoned that with half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of onion granules, a quarter of a teaspoon of turmeric, a good pinch of sea salt and a crack of black pepper, and I just turned that to get the spices combined well through the tofu. Once thoroughly mixed through, I just set the scrambled tofu aside in a bowl. I then took 2 portions of leftover cooked basmati rice that I had from the day before, which is always the best way to make fried rice. So I just added that into the same pan with a little oil and just kept turning that through to fry it off. I also drizzled a little sesame oil into a separate wok on a medium heat. I peeled a white onion and then just cut that up into kind of wedges, added that to the wok to start frying. I then took a yellow, red and green bell pepper and just cut those up into chunky pieces. Added those to the pan too and gave them a good turn through the onions. I trimmed 100 grams of tender stem broccoli and cut those in half. Added those to the pan and then took 100 grams of baby corn, halved that and added that in too. Then it gave all of the veg a good toss together through the wok. I next made this sweet and sour sauce by crushing 3 cloves of garlic first. I then took a small red chilli and finely chopped that up. I drained 3/4 of a cup of pineapple juice from a tin of pineapple and poured that into a mixing bowl. To that I then added 3 tablespoons of agave syrup. I added in 2 tablespoons of tomato puree, poured in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. I finally grated in a 6cm piece of fresh ginger. Then I added in the minced garlic and the chopped red chilli. I added in 1/4 teaspoon of Chinese 5 spice as well. Then I whisked that all together with a fork before sprinkling in a tablespoon of corn flour. And again, I just combined that together using a fork until smooth. I took the tin pineapple, which I'd just roughly chopped up, and I threw that into the wok next, gave it a gentle turn through, and then just poured in the sweet and sour sauce and gave it a good mix through all of the veggies to get them well coated. back to the rice, which I just kept moving constantly. I then added the scrambled tofu back into the pan with the rice and just turned it all through, and you can leave it as it is. I added in a good pinch of kalinamak, which is a black salt, and it has like a sulphur eggy taste to it, so it's a really great way to level up your vegan egg fried rice. I didn't stop there, oh no, I did also just cut up a bok choy and lightly fried that in a frying pan with around 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, just for a couple of minutes until it began to wilt. Once that was done, I plated up the egg fried rice first. I then added the sweet and sour vegetables on top of that, along with all of the extra saucy goodness. I just placed the fried bok choy on the side and sprinkled on some sesame seeds, as well as some sliced spring onion and also some fresh coriander. I do love sweet and sour, and I had this idea to do it with the vegan egg fried rice to use up the cooked rice that was in my fridge. And this is definitely something I would have ordered as a Chinese takeaway or at a restaurant before I went vegan. So hopefully my recipes show that you can still eat everything you enjoy, just cruelty-free versions of them. The sauce is sweet and sticky from that pineapple and the agave, sour from the rice vinegar, and I only lightly cook all of the veg so that it still keeps quite crunchy. So there's loads of texture going on, and paired with the fried rice and the soft tofu egg, which in itself is just so flavourful. Then for dessert we shared these Cacao Ultimate peanut butter milk truffles. I had put these in the freezer for a bit first, so they were nice and chilled. These weren't overly sweet, but just enough, and they weren't too peanut buttery either, so they were just right. And that's another day on my plate. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, all of the recipes are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!